Hello, hello, hello. My name's Sam and welcome to my channel, So Let's Sparkle with Sam. And today is the Smash the Stash, the reveal. So, hello you. If you are new, welcome, welcome, welcome. And if you've been here before, welcome back. So this is my Smash the Stash, the reveal episode. So those of you that have been watching me regularly will know that this year my mission, as well as turning 50, is to smash the stash. And what I mean by that is to sew up the fabric that I have in my fabric arsenal, in my fabric stash. I'm not putting myself on a fabric ban. I'm not doing anything daft and silly like that. What I'm doing is I'm trying to mindfully sew what I already have while carefully curating some fabric collections as well. But yeah, I need some help on certain fabrics that I've been really struggling on, kind of what I want to make with them. So I'm asking your help. So the first four fabrics, because don't forget my stash squatter, and we'll see whether I have actually done anything with that or not. So starting with the first three fabrics. So the first fabric was the lovely Viscose Challis from Bornella Fabrics. Pop a picture of it up here because it is now actually a garment. So I first bought that fabric last year at the Stitch Festival, so it's nearly a year in my stash, and it is now a beautiful sagebrush top. So I'll pop a picture of me wearing it so you can see. And as you can see, instead of using the fabric, I only just had enough. It was 1.5 meters and I only just had enough to make the top. So instead of using bias binding, I used the binding that comes in my subscription box, my bias tape and label subscription box from the Specky Seamstress, and it says cute as a button. And on that, the little button is a button that I got in my advent calendar this year from Becky's Sewing Studio. And I think it matches quite nicely with the lighter pink here. And this is just a little piece of elastic because I like to use elastic on mine, on my rouleau loops, because then I can get it just over my head because I'm lazy and you know, all of this business. So yeah, that's what I like to do. So I've made a classic sagebrush with the ruffle at the front. I always take 2 inches out of the fullness of the sleeve, so they're still very full but not quite as full as they normally are. I put an elasticated casing in the arms, which means that it sits just nicely where I like it to sit. I do my regular alteration, which I add 1.5 inches to the length because I do like it to cover my bottom. And yeah, and apart from that, I think that's it. Yeah, that's all of the changes that I made. So yeah, I'll pop a picture up of me wearing it. I have to say that this fabric, because I'm a little bit hit and miss with viscoses. Some viscose I love sewing with, some viscose I hate sewing with. This goes in the love category. I have to say, I really like making the sagebrush top. It's a lovely pattern to make. It's nice and simple. You can kind of get it done in an afternoon. And I do kind of enjoy making it, but the fabric made it even more of an enjoyable make. It's as soft as silk. It's just so gorgeous to wear. And normally I find personally, normally fabrics that are lovely to wear are not always the easiest to sew, but actually this was a beautiful. And as you can see, my stitches have just gone in really beautifully into it. And I just think it looks, yeah, I'm really pleased with it, really pleased with it. I sewed it all throughout. I did use rainbow overlocking on the inside because why not? And yeah, really happy with it. So first one, smashed. I'm so pleased with that. Oh, actually, one thing that I did do, because it's a Viscose Challis, and a Viscose Challis is very, very fine, I did use a little bit of woven, the cotton woven interfacing on the back yoke and also on the front yoke where the ruffle is attached to. One, because I knew I was going to use a heavier bias tape, and I thought it might need a little bit of interfacing, and I'm really glad that I've done that because it's made this front piece here, so when it sits on me, it makes it sit really nicely. So yeah, so that was one thing that I did add. I was trying to think whether I did add anything else. And in case I didn't mention, I make a size medium. So I generally make a large with the Friday Pattern Company, but I've noticed recently that I prefer the fit of the medium. So without, yeah, I just prefer the fit of the medium. So I've started cutting a medium and I find that that fits me perfectly. Not, you know, not tight, still not tight at all, still nicely oversized, but just a bit more fitted where I want it to be fitted. So yeah, so that's number one. Let me just move my iPad out of the way so I can show you number two. So this was, I don't know whether you remember, but this was a lovely shimmery, shiny jersey knit from my workplace, from Carolyn Rose. So this was a little offcut that we had left over. I really liked it. I knew straight away that I'd find something that I'd make into it, but then it was just one of those things that came home, didn't have time to make it up, so sat in my stash. And yeah, so here it is, and it is now a Marlo cardigan. So I've made the Marlo cardigan a few times now, and it comes up really, really big. Not a little bit big, really, really big. So if I went on my measurements, I should be cutting out a 10 or a 12, and I cut out a 6. So really big. And even though I did cut out a 6, I still found it was a bit big because I went for the cropped version and I wasn't going to do buttons and buttonholes because in my other one I never do it up. But when I popped it on, and I'll show you a picture, the way that I like to wear the Marlos is I like them to wear them so that they kind of like nip in at the waist and they kind of sit on the top of my trouser waistband. And it just wasn't doing anything for me, kind of flapping around. So what I have done is, instead of doing the buttons and the buttonholes as you would normally do going up here, I've done them on the waistband. So I've done one this side and one this side. So it kind of laps over. Don't know whether you can see. So it laps up. So I've basically made it smaller at the waist. So I've still got everything that I need up top, but it's smaller at the waist, which gives it that kind of nice nipped in look. And actually, these are two beautiful buttons that the lovely What Beck Sews, the lovely Bex from What Beck Sews, as part of her Jazz and Wow Etsy shop, sent me. And I think you'll agree that with the sparkliness of the fabric and the sparkly buttons, just goes beautifully together. And I can see me wearing this, you know, this is a good throw on cardi for a nice kind of evening outfit. So yeah, I was really pleased with that. But I am going to re-look at the Marlo pattern, and I may even check out other cardigan patterns that are similar, because I do find that I have to do a lot of hacking to that to make it fit me, and it's very, very oversized. So yeah, I mean, it's fine, but I think I could probably do some improvement on that one. So yeah, so that's number 2. Now, number 3 was this lovely fabric, and at the time I couldn't remember where I'd got it from, and then I had a look on my stash hub and it didn't say, but what I did is then I did a Google, what do you call it? A Google search when you search with the photo, and it all came up. So it was from, I've forgotten again. I'll pop it down below. Completely got it. Will come to me in a minute. Oh, middle-aged woman. Anyway, I got it from there. And I had, this is the lovely fabric, and I had 2.5 meters of it, and it is at the time I thought it was a viscose jersey, but looking at it, it's more of like a t-shirt, like single knit cotton jersey. But it's absolutely gorgeous, and it's sewn up really nicely. So I've made is it Galena? Galena, tomato. I think it's called the Galena, from Styla Patterns, which is the adult version of Little Lizard King. And it is a free pattern. So any of you that might be joining in with Sam and Ruan's challenge, the So Frugal one, I'm just warning you now that this is a free pattern, and it's a brilliant one. It is an absolute brilliant one. I've made the dress version. I'll pop a picture of, hopefully you'll see a picture of me wearing it and maybe doing a little twirly twirl. It's got these most delicious, gorgeous bishop sleeves. And then they all come in with this nice, and what I like about this is that the cuff is not tiny. It's got a nice substantial cuff. I still haven't taken out some of my gathering stitches. Naughty me. I will be doing that. Obviously, I just wanted to show you. So yeah, and then it's got a half circle skirt, which gives you just that gorgeous amount of twirly twirl. Again, on my measurements, I should have cut a 14. I had a look at the finished garment measurements and I cut a 10. I think ideally I would probably like to cut an 11. Not quite a 12. Not quite a 10. So what I did was, when I got to the bit where basically my bust area, I just made the seam allowance ever so slightly smaller, so that I had a little bit more room in it on that area, and that seemed to do the trick. And actually I'm really impressed with the fit. I'm really pleased with the fit. I think it fits me beautifully. You can have a look at the picture and see for yourself, but yeah. And it comes with an option to have a button placket, and I do really want to try that because I think it looks really great. But it also comes as a top version, and I have to say, knowing how quickly it came together and how great it is at kind of using up those, you know, particularly for the top version, you know, 1.5 meters of cotton jersey that you've got hanging around, or 1.5 meters of viscose jersey you've got hanging around, you got yourself a really beautiful top. So I am going to make myself some more of those. So I think that was a really good success, because it's helped me obviously smash the stash for this particular episode, but I think it's going to help me in the future use up those bits of fabric. So I think that's I can't shout loud enough about that pattern, and I'm kicking myself really because it's a free pattern. I downloaded it probably 2 years ago and I've never made it up. It's just been there, sitting there, because I think sometimes we don't really value free patterns, because I just thought, oh, you know, it was a free pattern, maybe it's nice, maybe it's not, but it really is. It's a really lovely pattern, so quick and easy to sew. I will just say that knowing other Little Lizard King patterns, the instructions aren't as good on the free pattern as they are on the other pattern. I'm just going to be totally honest. But if it's not your first rodeo, you'll be absolutely fine, like no problems at all. But they're not as good as their normal patterns. But then I guess it's free, and that may be the reason why. So, but yeah, I did really enjoy that. And actually I enjoyed it so much that I've been umming and ahhing about whether to do perhaps a little sew along for that one, because I did really enjoy sewing it. So I'll have a think about that, and because I know how much you like a sew along, so we will have a think. So yeah, number 3, tick. So that stash squatter, what did I do? What did I do with it? Well, it isn't fabric anymore. And it is a dress. So what happened was I was making one of my favourite patterns to make, which is the Dressmaker's Closet Poppy Pinafore. And I was making the longer version. And I had all my pattern pieces out and I had this fabric out and I was putting and I was thinking, oh, this might work because of where the kind of pattern is, I needed this stripe to go down the front of the bodice, and I needed something that the stripe would go down the back, and I needed something that where it would kind of give me a good amount in the skirt, which it really, really does, and lie really nicely. So I thought, right, well, you like this, give it a go. It's got a black background, so you can wear black underneath it. I have used bias tape on the inside, which is this green colour, which I don't, can you see that? There we go, which I think goes quite nicely. Again, I didn't cut bias from the fabric because I was worried that I wouldn't have enough, but actually I have got quite a substantial kind of scrap left, which I may use as a bag lining because I think it's quite pretty. But when I was cutting it, I didn't want to cut too much. Plus, in my other one, I put a frill on the bottom. And I was thinking I would do the same for this one, which was why I was saving that fabric. However, when I came to hem it, I noticed that actually this would just be the perfect place to hem it. So as you can see, I've got quite a sizable chunky hem on it because I wanted that to be the bottom. Now you might be wondering why you haven't seen a picture yet. Now I'm going to show you a picture of how I think I look in it. Yeah, I look like a Russian doll. I look like a Russian doll. There's no there's no argument. No, like, people, I know people are going to say, Sam, it looks lovely, and it does, but I still look like a Russian doll, and I can't get it out of my head. Yeah. I look like a Russian doll. Now, I look like a very kind of put together lovely Russian doll, but I definitely look like a Russian doll. The other thing is, and this is because of the pattern of the dress, as you can see, I have got flower boobies, which wasn't my intention, but there they are. And yeah, and although I've done really well with the pattern matching, that I've kind of got it all going, I don't know whether I've done the right thing or not. So I popped it on with a like a long sleeve thermal top underneath, and I think with tights and boots it's perfectly winter appropriate. But I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till the weather's a bit warmer and kind of see how I might feel differently about it in the summer, or I might just mess about with styling it, maybe putting a belt on, or maybe kind of like maybe wearing it with a cardigan over the top or something like that. But yeah. And thank you so much to everybody that gave me ideas of, you know, what I could make with it. And I did really appreciate everybody's ideas. But in the end, it just kind of came as a bit of a, oh, this would work. Because I was really worried. A lot of you were saying about cord sets, and I was just really worried how I was going to do all of that matching. And also, a lot of you said skirts, and I'm not much of a skirt wearer. So in the end, I went for the poppy pinafore, and I look like a Russian doll. You win some, you lose some, don't you, Sam? So yeah, so that was Moustache Squatter. So now I'm going to talk to you about my 4 new fabrics for February. So my 4 fabrics that I found in my stash that I'm going to try and turn into something fabulous for next month. So the first pieces of fabric, so this is a 2-for-1 kind of scenario, are this piece of boiled wool, which is about 80 centimetres of boiled wool that I had left over from another project. And this is again, about 80, 90 centimetres of this lovely olive gingham. And using together, I am going to make the hand bock vest by Sewing Therapy. It's another free pattern, and I've been wanting to give it a go for the longest time. It's got little ties on, and yeah, I've got a pair of ready to wear corduroy trousers that I bought in the sale. I find them really comfy. I love them. I'd live in them forever if I could. They're just my go-to kind of cord trousers, and this would go beautifully with it. And I'm thinking, when I'm teaching in the workroom, sometimes I just want something to kind of pop on over the top. So yeah, so I'm going to make the hand bock tie vest by Sewing Therapy. And I will pop a picture of the line drawings up so you can see. So yeah, so that's Smash the Stash number 1 for February. So number 2 is one that I've had in my stash for quite a long time. It's a subscription box fabric. It's one that came in the luxury Sew Hayley Jane box that I don't actually subscribe to. I subscribe to the classic box, but when I saw this fabric, I rushed straight away to Hayley's online store and snapped myself up 3 meters, and then it's just stayed in my stash ever since. And it is this, and it is gorgeous, and I love it, and I love the colours, and I love everything about it, but I've really struggled in knowing what I want to make with it. And then I realised that this year, because of all of my exciting, because of my birthday and I'm doing lots of exciting adventures, I'm actually staying away at night quite a lot this year. And I wanted to make myself a pair of proper pyjamas. So I made myself a lovely silky pair of proper pyjamas just before Christmas to go away on the street. And they are lovely, but they are a little bit too, they're proper luxury pyjamas. I want these to be more kind of like lovely pyjamas, but more for everyday kind of wearing, but then, you know, they feel kind of nice to take away. So I think they'll be great as pyjamas. And I have lots and lots of pyjama patterns. I have the Winnie pyjama patterns by Merchant Mills. I have the Caroline pyjamas by Closet Core. I have lots and lots of pyjama patterns, but what I've decided to do is go with my favourites. So I'm going to make the Tilly and the Buttons Jamie pyjama pants, because I can make them very quickly. I know they work every time. I make them in a size 4 and it's, you know, easy peasy. I have the pocket piece so I can put pockets in them. I just find that they work really well. And then I'm going to make the Tony shirt pattern as the top, because again, I've made that to fit me really nicely, and I want a short sleeve. I don't want a long sleeve top because I get hot. So I want a short sleeve pyjama top and then a long bottom. So yeah, so that will definitely, I mean, it's going to be a bit of a squeeze getting out of 3 meters, but I think, you know, I can make it work. And I think I can be a bit fast and loose with my pattern matching because it's so busy. So I think I should be fine. I do need to find some nice buttons to go with that, but I'm sure I will. So that's project number 2. Now, project number 3 is really nice actually, because it's come around quite organically, and I love it when that happens. So I've been working on my Plymouth Frocktails dress, and when I've been doing it, I've realised that I'm going to need a cardigan with it. So I've been looking through my fabric, and I was chatting to my lovely friend Catherine from Soverton Makery, and I'd forgotten that this fabric wasn't on Stash Hub. It wasn't in my Kallax. I'd actually forgotten I'd bought it. I know, I'm very naughty. It was in the bottom of a box. So I thought this is a great contender for Stash Hub, because this is like literally what it's all about, is using up those fabrics I didn't even know I had. and it's gorgeous. It's absolutely gorgeous. I'm pretty sure I bought it from Higgs and Higgs at one of the shows. It's coming up quite grey. Now it is actually a very like minty green, and it is exactly the same minty green as the planets and the moons on my Fleur dress fabric. So it will match beautifully. And I've decided to make the Tilly and the Buttons pearl cardigan. I've never made that cardigan before, but I wanted a wrap cardigan, and yeah, and I had the pattern, so I thought let's just do that one. So yeah, I'm doing the Tilly and the Buttons wrap pearl cardigan. I've sent the pattern to be printed at Flamingo Prints, and it came today, so I think this one might be pushed up the line a bit so I can get that one done and finished. So yeah, absolutely gorgeous. I don't know how much of this I've got actually. I think it's about 2 meters, which should be plenty for a wrap cardigan, she says. Don't know, I haven't had a look yet. There's the planning. So this month's stash squatter is this. So I picked this up on a swaps table when I went to a sewing social ages and ages ago, and it's this lovely kind of tweedy, kind of almost herringbone. It's nice and thick. It's definitely winter weight. It's definitely kind of like trouser weight fabric. I think it's cotton, can't be 100. I have no idea of the composition because I got it off a swaps table, and it is a good chunk of fabric, but it has got, I don't know whether you can see, it has got a big kind of square that has been quite brutally, has to be said, cut out of it. So I think realistically I've got between 1.5 and 1.8 meters of this, but it is quite wide. So yeah, it's over to you guys. What do I make with this? What do you think? I honestly don't have any ideas at all, because I think I first thought maybe a Clio pinafore, the Tilly and the Buttons Clio pinafore, but I've got loads. I've got loads of them, and I don't need any more, particularly in this weight. So then I kind of went on to trousers, but then I thought, oh, I don't know. And I don't know what trousers to make. And 1.5 to 1.8 is a bit tight for a pair of trousers. So yeah, I don't know. I really don't know. If you have any ideas, please let me know. So I hope you have enjoyed coming on this Smashing the Stash adventure with me. I am loving it. I'm really enjoying it. I love the motivation that it's giving me to sew, because just knowing that those fabrics are there and I've got to sew them up because I've told you that I'm going to, I'm finding really motivating. And I love getting all of the comments in when I first put a video out of all of the things that you think that I could make with them. So thank you very much. And if, you know, I'm happy for you to say, Sam, don't make the pearl cardigan. That's a silly idea. Make this instead. Or don't make that, you know, do this. You know, I mean, I might just go ahead and do what I'm planning on doing, but it's always nice to have other ideas. And I like, you know, I like ideas. I love that I inspire you, and I love that I get inspiration from you. So yeah. Smash the stash. I will see you next time. So what my plan is to get these sewn up, and then in 4 weeks time I'll show you what I've sewn, and I'll show you the next 3/4 fabrics. Take care. If you like this video, don't forget to give me a like and a subscribe. Don't forget to sparkle. I'll see you really soon. Bye for now.